Hey, Bougie Club. It's Sunday. The seasons have changed officially. Time has gone back. I apologize for missing you all last Sunday, but I did not have cell phone reception. So, today I'm back. And I'm in the middle of getting my hair taken down, so y'all know I keep it 100 with y'all. It's a multitasking type of Sunday. So my last month, October was a month for the record books, y'all. Oh my goodness, let's see. I went to Cancun, Chicago, Las Vegas, and Phoenix all last month. I think I was at home a total of 5 days the whole month of October, but it was amazing time. I'm excited that I seized the opportunities when the opportunities presented themselves. But of course, you know, there's always lessons. So what are some of the things that I learned on my globe tripping? One of the big takeaways I learned this past month was the true meaning of unconditional, especially when you are dealing with family. Oh, y'all, look, I'm so proud of my family. It was such a beautiful trip. That whole choosing happiness thing has happened. I got to spend time with all of my family, and it was peaceful. It was enjoyable. It was loving. It was drama-free. That is definitely one for the record books. I don't know about y'all family, but for my family, that was a monumental feat. And so I was really excited about that. But I also learned, which is something that many of you probably already learned, you know, a lot of these trips that I've been taking was to fulfill my mother's birthday wish to see her family for her birthday. And I learned a lot in gallivanting around the country with my mother. My mother will be 80 on the 13th, and I had really no idea what 80 looked like. So first, my mom is short. She's like 5 feet tall, but all of my life she's been this larger than life presence. Looking at her now, and I'm taller than her, and I look down on her, and she's like this little lady. I don't know why she had me shook all these years, you know. In my heart, I feel like I probably could have took her. Not that I would ever try it, because it definitely would not be in my best interest. But in traveling with her, I realized how human she is, and she's not this invincible person that I thought that she was, because, you know, life is taking its tolls, and things that she could easily do, you know, she can't do as easily as she used to. So I thank God for the opportunity to be able to assist her on a journey and be able to provide her some experiences that she had never had before in her 80 short years of living. So that was like really cool. So I understand it's a gift, y'all. So those of you all know me intimately know that me and my mother have not always had the best relationship. So being able to come to a place of maturity to make amends and define the relationship as I would want it to be, from a place of unconditional love, has truly been a beautiful experience. I shared with you all the experience that I had with my dad back in August. I don't know what God is doing, but I asked to be able to love people how he loves people, because that's one of the things that is required. But understanding when you ask for things, you can't complain about how the opportunities are given. So I'm just grateful of learning the whole meaning of unconditional and unconditional love. As parents, I think our first experience with that is probably with our children. But to be able to go backwards and have it with our parents can be truly life-changing. Diamond, do me a favor. Tilt that light because it's like a big glare. There we go. No? I don't know what happened. We're going to get it together, y'all. Okay, trying to give a little light. So that was that. So let me tell y'all about my airplane experience. So I'm a firm believer that God uses nature and experiences to, hey, Miss Carlise, to show us things. Hey, Raheem, what's up, Mr. Lewis? I'm sorry, y'all. How is it going? We should be coming up on a graduation pretty soon. Hey, Miss Cassandra. Hey, Miss Sandra. So, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the comments. So I had this experience in the airplane. For some reason, y'all, if y'all ever ask me to see the pictures of my trip, I'm going to show you our aerial pictures that I've taken while I'm in the plane. I don't know why I like looking out the window. But when I was traveling to Chicago a couple of trips ago, what I realized is that the sun is always shining. So when we were up in the air, the sun was shining. It was blinding. Like, you really couldn't look out the window because the sun was so bright. And then below, it was like a blanket of clouds. And the clouds were so beautiful. But as we began our descent and we came through the clouds, there was turbulence, right? And I'll talk to you all about the turbulence in the clouds. And then as we landed, it was gloomy. It was rainy. When you looked up, all you saw was the clouds. You didn't know the sun was shining, even though I know for certain the sun was shining because I was on the other side of the clouds. And so that was like one of those experiences like, oh, okay, the sun is always shining whether you see it or not, right? Revelationary. So on our way back from Phoenix, our flight was delayed leaving Phoenix because of the fires in California had delayed the flight that was coming to pick us up to take us to Dallas. And they had to be rerouted to Albuquerque to get some more gas, then come back to Phoenix or whatever the case may be. And so we finally got on the flight and we were going from Phoenix to Dallas. Well, Dallas was experiencing some adverse weather. So while we're on the plane, it was a beautiful sight of clouds. And if y'all look on Instagram or the J Penelope page, I posted some pictures. Matter of fact, it's like my new cover page. The clouds were just like amazing. But what I noticed in that moment is that the cloud had clouds. And it was just like, So when you talk about levels and elevation, sometimes we'll get to a level where we think we are arrived and it'll be so beautiful. And then we just think it's supposed to be that and nothing else. But even in the best place and in a beautiful place and the sun is shining and everything's beautiful around you, you can still be in a storm. It can still be a whole nother level of clouds that begin to cover to allow you to know that something is coming. And so I'm saying that because it's normal. Like, don't get discouraged if you in this good place. I know one of those things I always be like, dang, every time things get to going good, something else happens. And so I want you to reframe how you're looking at that something happening as we are this seasons, because the seasons change. Remember, I told you, expect the fall, master the winter, anticipate the spring, and protect the summer. So there's always going to be a season, and even though you might not be on the ground in the middle of the storm and the rain, and you're up a level where there's clouds and the sun is shining, that level can have clouds also. So know that there's always another level, and so keep that in mind. So as I'm looking at these clouds, I'm looking and I'm admiring the beauty of the clouds. But the reality of this object of my adoration were storm clouds. So the part that I was looking at was beautiful. And I'm like, oh, I'm snapping pictures. It's so gorgeous. But we were circling in flight because we couldn't land, because there was a storm on the other side of this beautiful picturesque view that I had. And the pilot comes on and he's telling us, you know, we're circling around until we get clearance because the Dallas airport was down to one runway. And they were trying to clear the one runway to make room for us to land. And so that spoke to me on a couple of different levels. One thing is, sometimes we look at other people in admiration and we see what they have and we like it. We might take pictures. We might even decide that we want something similar for ourselves. But what we may not realize is underneath the clouds or underneath that pretty picture, there's a storm. There's rain. There's something else going on behind the scenes that I love you too, LaToya, that we never see. And so be careful what you're admiring, because you don't know what's underneath. You don't know what's behind the scenes. And I've come to realize that people look at me and they make a whole lot of assumptions, but they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because it looks pretty on the outside. And in July, I decided to choose happiness, and I've learned to celebrate even in my storm, so the rain doesn't bother me like it used to anymore. But what was fascinating about us circling around waiting to land was the fact that on the other side of these clouds was a storm. But whatever was going on the ground, in order for me to land, I had a destination. I had a place to be, and where I needed to be was in the storm. I didn't necessarily know when I was looking at the clouds that I was going to the storm, but I knew on the other side of the cloud was my destination. However, what was going on at my destination wasn't really making room for me to land. So I was going to Dallas, but I was going to Dallas to go to Memphis. And so at that particular time, I was dealing with a situation with a friend, and my friend was going through some things, and my friend wanted me to help. And when I'm experiencing this thing in the plane, what I realized was, y'all know I'm a helper. I like helping people. Y'all be in my inbox. The airport was so caught up in trying to manage the storm, it wasn't making room for me to land. And in this particular situation, my friend is going through so much in the middle of their storm that they don't have the capacity to make room for me to land and give them help. But the reality of it is, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to clear the runway. Your help is only for a season, for an appointed time. Like, summer is from June until September, October, and then it's over with. So your season is finite. But it doesn't matter if it takes you 2 months to clear your runway. Once that person lands at their destination, they still have another destination to get to, so they can't be delayed. So while you're going through your storm, God is trying to send you somebody to help. They have an appointment to come see you, but originally our layover in Dallas was supposed to be 2 hours. But because of the delays, when we got to Dallas, we had 10 minutes to get to our next flight. But I couldn't miss my connecting flight because they didn't have time to clear the runway. So where I might have wanted to stop and go to the bathroom, it might have been somebody there I needed to visit or speak to, but because there was the delay in the clearance of the runway, I had to keep on moving and just pass through and make it on to my destination. And I was kind of anxious, which I normally don't get when I was getting off the plane, because I had my mama with me. Now, I'm okay with being delayed in the airport, but I didn't want my mom to be delayed. But it just so happened that there was several people on that flight connecting to the Memphis flight, so they held the plane. But the reality of it is, I didn't have as much time as I originally planned in that destination. So when I'm saying, if you're in a storm and God's trying to send you some help, but you so caught up in the storm and you're not realizing that it's just the storm, it's just the rain, it's gonna be okay, he's sending you some help, and you're not clearing your runway, whoever he's sending for you still got another destination. They still have another assignment. They still have another appointment. So don't miss out on the opportunity to take advantage of the help that he's sending you, because you don't want to clear the runway, because you don't want to get rid of your pride, because you don't want to consider an alternative perspective, because you don't want to do your work, because you don't want to push yourself to get out of bed and get dressed and go to that meeting or make that phone call to whoever you're supposed to make the phone call to. Your assistance and your rescue is on the way, but they circling around waiting on you to clear the runway. So this is the thing. While they're waiting on you to clear the runway, two things are going to happen. Either they're going to be rerouted and they're going to go to another airport and they're never going to make it to you, or they are going to get to you, but because you done wasted so much time in your sorrow and your pity party and worrying about what is versus what's coming, that they're not going to have the time that was originally allocated to spend with you, because you were so caught up that it was raining and that you was in the middle of the storm and you weren't clearing your runway. So I'm going to encourage you all to clear your runway. Clear the runway so your help can land. And recognize that help is coming. But if you ain't clearing your runway, they just circling around, and they either going to be rerouted, or when they get there, they ain't going to have the time that was allotted for them to spend to help you get it together. So you can decrease their 2-hour stay to 10 minutes, and then it's so fast they don't even really get to have a conversation with you and just pass you on by. Or you can do what you need to do to clear off your runway and make room for them to land so they can spend the time that has been designated for them to spend the time with you to help you with whatever you're going through in the storm, whether that's clearing away the chairs and sweeping up the debris, whether that's helping you rebuild the house, whether that's bringing you a couple of bottled waters while they riding through. I don't know what it is. It's making sense to somebody, but you got to clear your runway. You got to clear your runway. That's all I'm saying. Don't let your help miss you, because you so caught up in a storm that you're not paying attention to your runway. Don't look at someone and be so caught up in the beautiful clouds and the pretty package that you see that you miss that they're your assignment, because there's something going on the other side of their clouds. So I want you all to continue to do your work to stay in alignment so that you can discern whether there's something going on the other side of that pretty picture that you're seeing, and that person has a runway that's waiting on you to land. Because sometimes the runway can be clear, but you're so busy caught up looking at the clouds that you don't even realize on the other side of them clouds there's a destination that you need to be at, and there's some help that you need to be giving, because you're so busy getting caught up in the beauty of the clouds and taking pictures. So I don't know, y'all. These just be all of the things that I be getting from just riding on the airplane, circling around in the air, waiting to land during a storm, and recognizing that there's beauty in the storm. So if you're in the middle of the storm, it's okay. Embrace it. Be thankful for it. Understand that it's watering the seed. Understand that it's not going to last forever. At some point, it's going to be over. Understand that in the center of the storm, there's always a calm, but you can continue the chaos and not even realize that there's a stillness. Understand that sometimes the storm is to clear a path. So don't get so caught up in what's going on around you, is basically what I'm trying to say, that you miss the point, that you miss the picture, because it could always be worse. And check on your friends that look like beautiful clouds, because there could be something going on behind the scenes that they're so caught up in what's going on that they don't even know to tell you or know how to tell you. But you'll feel it. You'll feel somebody tugging on your spirit. When you feel somebody come to mind, or you thinking about them out of the blue, pick up the phone and say, hey, how you doing? I was just thinking about you. Send them a text message. above all of that, send a prayer and send some positive intention, y'all. We're all connected. We need each other. This time is so short. You know, just last weekend, I was spending a weekend with my family, with my sisters in Vegas, and then my mama called me last night to tell me that my sister was in the hospital. Something happened with her graft during dialysis, and so they have to take her into a procedure to try to unclot her graft. And so I'm just saying that to say time is so short, so I'm grateful for the opportunity, because just in a matter of days, someone could go from being fine to in the hospital having to have, you know, surgery. So don't take the moments for granted, and enjoy the moments. Like, I appreciate her picking me some greens. She made me some greens. And I don't take that from granted, because, you know, my sister is an amputee, so she stood up on, now that's love, y'all. She stood up on one leg and made me some, and picked and washed greens and cooked me some greens. And so I tried to make some greens yesterday. They didn't taste the same, but I'm just saying, the moments are, they're limited. Time is so limited. Take advantage of valuing the people while you have them available, and doing everything that you can. Love them unconditionally, even if they're not doing what you want them to do, y'all. And be help. We're supposed to help each other. That's all I got for y'all. I hope it helps somebody. But that's what I get when I be riding in the planes. I got all of that from the plane. Not being able to land on time. But I don't know. That's what I see when I be in the clouds. That's one of my favorite places to be, but I'm glad to be home. I'm taking it easy. Knock on wood. I'm trying not to travel. The month of November, I really feel like I need to refresh and recalibrate and get some rest. It just dawned on me, I have been traveling every month since February. I have been in some city or country, and I enjoy it and I love it, and I've been having the time of my life. But I think November is the month that I need to take a break. So hopefully I'll be staying still. But that's all I got for y'all, Bougie Club. Happy Sunday. As always, I want to encourage you all to be bold, outspoken, unapologetic, goodwill, inspiring, and epic every day. I love you all in this life and the next. Hey, Miss Juliet, birthday twin, I see you on there. Sorry for the delay. And I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all next week. Good night.